What's up, everybody? Welcome to CPR TV, your home for everything CPR, ACLS, PALS, and so much, much more. Today, we are talking with Mr. Tim White. Tim has been living a plant-based lifestyle for about how long now?
It's going on my fifth year.
Fifth year.
Yeah.
So we want to talk with Tim and to see what that transition was like. And Tim has some projects that he's working on. We're going to talk about all of that when we come right back. So Tim, I have been following you on Facebook for some months now, and I've been watching your progression and your smoothies and just different things that you've been doing to push the agenda as far as getting people healthier and just adapting that type of lifestyle. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing, like how you transitioned and why you transitioned?
Wow. Well, it was kind of by accident. But sometimes I say a lot of stuff is not accident. But to begin, I was having health issues myself. Number one, my weight, and number two, my blood pressure, which seems to be affecting a lot of people that's here in Mississippi. So I went to the doctor, put me on blood pressure medications, but to make a long story short, I knew I had to do something, okay? And I started making changes, and I started looking at the plant-based lifestyle. So I started eating more of a plant-based diet, and I was amazed at the benefits that started to change. My blood pressure went down, my weight went down, and after that, I just felt like there was something I wanted to stick with.
Okay. So what does it mean to live a plant-based lifestyle, and what has it done? So your whole family transitioned with you?
Well, starting out, me and my wife, we started out together, okay? But then she got pregnant, and that was her past. To kind of go back for just a minute, but she still ate mostly plants though. She went to seafood, but for the most part, it was just, for a while, it was just me by myself. But I had that mindset that I'm doing this for my health, so it allowed me to stick with it. But as far as what does it mean to be plant-based? All right, number one, no animal products. So I don't eat any meat. And for me, that was a big transition because I love meat. I love any type of meat you can think of. I loved it. You ever had raccoon?
No.
Okay, see, I used to eat raccoon and stuff like that. If it was a meat, I wanted it, all right? So, but now going to a plant-based lifestyle, it's not that big of a difference as most people think, all right? Just a prime example, if I go to a restaurant, most restaurants offer you a meat and 2 vegetables, right?
Right.
So instead of getting that meat, I just get 3 vegetables. So most of us are already halfway there because normally you get a leg and a wing or something on breast. You just take that out and just strictly eat your vegetables. Like our parents used to always tell us, eat your vegetables. And so that's what I basically just eat my vegetables.
Okay, so what's the difference between living plant-based and going vegan? I know there are different variations of vegan, some are more extreme than others, but just to be vegan or to be plant-based, what's the difference?
All right, now that is a big question, and there's a lot of confusion. All right, so hopefully I can kind of break that down in my own terms, okay? Number one, if you are a vegan, what that means to be a true, to the heart vegan, that you really don't do any animal products. I mean, no leather. I mean, nothing that deals with animals. Products that's been tested on animals. You don't, anything like that. Now, a person that's more plant-based, they may still wear the leather, but their goal is to just strictly focus on what they eat. It's not as far as a total lifestyle where you don't wear certain things that has animal products in it. You're more so worried about just what you eat. Now, I will say this too. There's also a difference in reasons why people will go vegan or plant-based. Some people adopt a plant-based lifestyle because of they're thinking about health. So what they eat may be a whole lot different than the next person that's vegan, all right? Because when it comes to health, there is a unhealthy way to eat vegan as well because, believe it or not, supersized fries is still vegan, right? But that may not be the healthiest food for your body, all right? So On that note, there's two different styles, and when I say that, some people do it for nothing. They don't want to harm animals, so it has nothing to do with their health. They just want to make sure animals are protected.
Okay. So when we talk about that, as far as like, what is it doing for your health? Is it, how does it affect your heart? How does it affect your digestive tract? What is it doing to just be living plant-based?
You said the key thing right there was digestion, because I'm always asking people about their fiber. Mm-hmm. And one thing about vegetables is high in fiber, and that's what's needed to clean our digestive system. But another thing, as far as eating your plants and eating your fruits, it helps to regulate your system. In other words, when we eat a lot of animal products, and one in particular is pork, and me personally, I love ribs. Ribs was my weakness. And bacon. You ever had bacon on light bread with mayonnaise?
Don't judge me, I don't eat bacon. I've never eaten.
You never had a bacon sandwich?
I don't know that life.
All right, but on some of y'all that's watching this probably had a good old bacon sandwich. You put a tomato on it. But anyway, a lot of times that pork, it clogs up your arteries. All right, and that's one thing about eating a plant-based diet. It will actually clean your arteries, and that's what I found out as my blood pressure started to go down. I was just basically cleaning my arteries out. So it's a huge component as far as improving your health as you start eating more fruits and vegetables. It just take your health to a whole nother level.
So we talked about as we continue to talk about the digestive tract, what a lot of people don't know is that your digestive tract can affect the rest of your body.
Yes.
And so we have to keep everything clean and flowing the way it's supposed to, and if not, what could possibly happen?
Wow, I look at it like this. We have to take the trash out, mm-hmm. right? Every vehicle has that exhaust, all right? If you take something and clog up that exhaust, the car is not going to function properly. And that's the same thing that's going on with our digestive system. I found this out through research, that colon cancer is the second leading cancer death, mm-hmm. right? And that's basically constipation. The digestive system is clogged up. But once we start cleaning that out, it takes our health to a whole nother level. Another thing, if I can say this, something else that coincides with that is our lymphatic system. Mm-hmm. They call that our sewage system. So those two things work hand in hand, and I found out another thing, that the majority of our immune system deals with our digestive system and the lymphatic system. So if that's clogged up, everything else starts to get clogged up, because the body has to release the waste, and if the waste is still there, that causes a problem.
Indeed, and I think that we also, if we're not expelling the way that we're supposed to, that can cause other things as far as skin conditions, issues with backup of the mucus. And so, yeah, especially that, and when you have that backup of the mucus, that can cause you to have other problems. Yes. It's going to show in different ways. So basically everything, when it boils back down to it, we have to keep our digestive tract the way that it was meant to be.
Exactly.
And if not, and then we wonder why the cancer rate is so high, why, the different illnesses that, we suffer, diabetes, especially now. And yeah, and I've been looking into it myself a little bit, and we've been making the changes gradually.
That's awesome.
But, and I think that that's a really big deal, because what I do here as far as teaching CPR and first aid and all of that, before we even make it to that, prevention is the key.
Prevention, that is so key. If we can prevent it before it happens, now we don't have to worry about trying to fight it. And you said something that's so huge, is inflammation. All right? Inflammation in the body will become inflamed. And I found out one of the major things that causes a lot of inflammation in our body is dairy. Dairy. And dairy is huge. For me, I love meat, but dairy was one of the hardest things to let go of, because I love casseroles. And how do you make a casserole? Throw some cheese on it. I mean, that's it. You want a green bean casserole? Throw some cheese in it, bam, there's your casserole. So, but one thing about that dairy, it causes a lot of inflammation. And inflammation in and of itself, it's a bad thing. It becomes a bad thing, but that's a defense mechanism. Myself, when I'm out there in the yard and I'm doing weed eating and stuff like that, and I don't have on a mask, well, as I inhale all that dust, shortly after that, I start sneezing and snotting because my body has trapped it with the mucus, and now it's trying to get it out. And so one thing about that inflammation, it's a way to trap the problem. But here's the thing, as we're talking about the digestive system, it has to have a way out. And as we continue to be inflamed, a lot of inflammation, it causes other problems. You think about arthritis and things like that. So digestive system is key. And when I'm doing talks and I'm going out and speaking at companies, that's one of the main things I start with. I do these challenges. Every time I do a challenge, the first thing I always say, let's start getting some bowel movements going. Can I say bowel movements?
Yes.
Okay. You got to get some bowel movements going. You got to go do number 2 because we got to get that out. All right. So yeah, that's huge.
So, and then I know I follow your challenges, and the first thing that you do is talk about water.
Yes.
Let's bring back the water. We have to, the fruits and vegetables and all that is good, but we need that water to help continuously flush that system out.
Got to. And that's when I start, I try to do basic things because sometimes it's so simple to start to improve. And something as simple as drinking water, but also that's something that a lot of us don't like to do. Like to do is drink water because it's just water. All right, so I do these what they call infused waters, where you at least put some cucumbers and fruits in there to give it some type of flavor. But I'll say this too, another thing about eating fruits, that juice that's in that fruits is also hydrating to us as well. Just think about a hot summer day, you get a big old watermelon. I mean, a lot of times you can't sit there and eat that whole watermelon because of the water content, but it hydrates our bodies. So we have to stay hydrated because most of our body we're majority water. So we have to hydrate those cells so our body can operate. Very important.
Indeed. Okay, so we talked about eating a lot of plants.
Yes.
Do you get full? How can you get full? Are you going to be hungry an hour later?
Okay, let me answer this because I get that question a lot. Because most of the time people think on a plant-based diet, most people think, y'all probably listening to this thinking salads. All right? And most people think he's just eating salads and some fruit. All right? But also on a plant-based diet, there's nuts and seeds that we eat. Okay? There's beans. Here in the South, there's a bean that we love. It's called butter bean. All right? You ever heard of a butter bean? All right? Butter beans. We like cabbage greens. Collard greens. But now here's the thing with our collard greens, eating plant-based, we don't put the ham hock in there.
Right.
Because this video is going all over. In the South, there's this thing called ham hock and a neck bone, okay?
Yeah.
And we put that in there in seasoning. There's another thing we call salt pork, all right? And some people call it fat back. It's all kind of names, but we decorate, but we put that in our greens to season it, right?
Yeah.
But on a plant-based diet, we just don't put that in there. So we still eat and we still get full. And that's the misconception that people think you're just eating a salad and after that you're going to be hungry again. But as we start eating, like I say, just start where you are. You like beans, you like greens, you like fruits, you like salads, you will get full. And feel great at that. Great at that.
Okay, let's see. And so I was going to ask about protein, but you just spoke on that as far as the beans and the nuts.
Yes.
So that's a good way of getting protein that way. So is that the only way?
Mostly that's where I get most of my proteins. Beans, seeds, and nuts. I was shocked to find out things like avocados, a good high fat content, but also things like that have protein. Some of your leafy green vegetables. I was surprised.
Okay.
A lot of these things have protein. So as I started doing the research, it just almost got to the point where if I went too deep into it, it'd be confusing. Like how much protein am I getting here? How much this am I getting here? But I started looking at things as a whole. Because protein in the grand scheme of things is not the most important thing that we need. Right? Our bodies don't need that much protein to operate. And actually, when you think about most Americans, they're getting plenty of protein, but yet they're still sick. You got me? So there's a thing that people think if you don't get protein, you're going to get sick. Well, people are getting plenty of protein, but they're still sick. But I always ask, where are you getting your fiber? Where you getting your calcium? You know, things that we don't think of. Everybody single out protein, but there's so much more that a lot of Americans are lacking. But if we go to a plant-based diet, it'll hit all those areas in a complete concept. All right. When I say complete concept, there's this notion of on a plant-based diet, you eat too much fruit, you're getting way too much sugar.
Right.
All right. And so I always use this example. If I take just some white sugar that we used to use to make the Kool-Aid. I don't know if y'all know about Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes put 2 packs in there and make it taste a little bit better. See, that's a trick that somebody gonna do right now. They're watching it. All right, but we used to get the pitcher and we put like that much Kool-Aid at the bottom of the pitcher. All right, but now that sugar and the sugar that's in fruit is totally different.
Right.
This is just sugar.
Right.
But what's in that fruit has nutrients and vitamins in it that our bodies need.
So we're talking the difference between high fructose corn syrup and
yes.
the type of sugars that we need to help keep our body regulated.
Right. Natural sugars.
Right.
These are things that our bodies crave. That's what we run off of. All right. And sometimes we neglect those things, and we're trying to run off something that can't sustain us. And in the grand scheme of things, that's why a lot of our bodies are starting to break down because we're not feeding it what it needs. And truth be told, most people think on a plant-based diet, once you eat, you're going to be hungry. But let me just ask a question. Can I ask a question? How many times have you ever ate a McDonald's sandwich and 2 hours later, you ready to go get another one? Why? Because it didn't feed your cells what it needed.
Right.
So a lot of times when you're eating a plant-based diet, your body's like, oh, I've been waiting on this. I'm good. I don't need to eat no more. And people think, oh, that's all you're going to eat? That's all I need. Because now my body's getting exactly what it needs.
Right.
There's so many times I ate a big old thing of fries, and a little bit later, guess what?
You're still hungry.
I'm still hungry because I did not give my body what it needed. It's still craving it. And that's why a lot of times we eat and we overeat because your body's still saying, still not satisfied, still not satisfied. Even though you gave me all this, still not satisfied. But switch over to a plant-based diet, your body, it'll start showing you that this is what I've been waiting on. And when it starts changing, it's hard to let that go. That's why I've been going on 5 years now, going the same route. From Mississippi, born and raised on fried chicken.
So that's the difference between eating to live and living to eat.
Yes.
And I think especially in the South, a lot of us live to eat.
We do.
Because we have all these delicious foods, the fried chicken and the collard greens with the fat backs and all the stuff that we were brought up on, we were raised on generationally. And generationally, we have the heart disease, the diabetes, all this stuff. And people think about, well, I have diabetes because my mom had it, which is true to a degree, but you have it because you eat the same stuff your mom ate.
It's true, lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle change. It's something that was passed down through generation, and it can be broken. But we do have to make a change, and that's the bottom line.
We do.
And I do believe that living a plant-based lifestyle, we're not asking you to just change everything and be just extreme about it, but
That's a good point.
small changes,
It takes some time to change. That's one of the hardest things to do is change something you've been doing all your life. So whenever I put together a challenge or anything like that, I'm taking people in gradual steps, all right? Because sometimes people try it and they try to just go all in starting out, and they fail, all right? But it's a gradual thing, like you just said. If you're going to do anything that involves change, it's a gradual process, all right? Gradual thing.
So as far as living the plant-based lifestyle, we know that it is possible for you to lose weight adapting to this lifestyle. But is it a possibility for you to gain weight
Yes.
adapting this lifestyle if not done correctly?
All right. Key thing you just said, gaining weight is not done correctly. Because as I mentioned, there's two different styles. Some may still eat fast food, they just don't eat the meat, but they're still getting all the saturated fats that are not as healthy for you. So, but if it's done properly, minimal processed foods, because that's another key thing that's hurting our health is processed food. And when I say that, processed food basically has been through a process where anything that's living in it has been stripped out. All right. Number one reason it has a longer shelf life. If I process it and strip everything out, they can go bad. All right. But living food has living enzymes. It feeds us. All right. So if done properly, yes, you can lose weight, and then the weight will come off effortlessly. I mean, it just started melting off. When I say that, I'm speaking from experience, because for years and years I tried to go to the gym and do all this to lose weight, still had it. So as I was saying, to lose weight on a plant-based diet, it'll be simple. It'll be these small changes, but you'll see major results as the weight starts coming off.
So that would mean for somebody that maybe they have an injury
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a disability, and even part of that disability is being overweight.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hey, I can't get to the gym, or I can't work out like I wanted to, but I have to get the weight off.
Gotcha.
So the diet change would be more effective than them, trying to get to a gym.
Right. And here's from my perspective, some of the major things that have happened. Let's say, for instance, someone has a disability, they can't go to the gym, all right? But as you change your diet, here's some things that'll start happening. If you change your diet and start drinking more water, all right, you're not going to eat as much because the water's going to keep you full. As you're starting to eat live foods, plant-based diet, the fiber that you get is going to start eliminating the waste. So two things there, you're going to be hydrated, you're not going to eat as much food. Another thing, you're going to start having more bowel movements because you're eating living foods that's going to help clean you out. But also, just not going to a gym is not the end of the world, because if we can walk around the house, we can walk around the block, that's still exercise. Exercise is just movement, doing stretches. So the diet plus just small, simple exercise, because truth be told, when I started losing the weight, all I did was change my diet, and I walked on my lunch break, and I was losing 3 or 4 pounds every week just from doing that. But it was the major component was changing my
The
diet.
diet change.
I can't stress that enough. Staying hydrated, change your diet. Sometimes you're not hungry because you're full because you're so hydrated. And on that note, they say a lot of Americans, a lot of times are not hungry. We just dehydrated.
Mm-hmm.
Your body, because when you think about years ago, our great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, they didn't have water bottles to keep with them all the time, but they would grab some berries out in the field and just chew on those berries. The juice in that would keep them hydrated. Everybody got me on that? Cool.
Okay. Well, I know that you have like some different projects. It's all about the W. Tell us about that.
All right, so it's all about the W. The way it's all about the W started. This is a phrase I've been saying since high school. All right, I played high school football, and every Friday our main goal was get out there on that field and go get that W. All right, we would practice hard in the gym. We would run laps. We would do suicides. Suicides meaning running back and forth. All right, so clear that up. All right, but we would do all that for one purpose, is that to get that W on Friday night. Coach would have us doing these exercises. We have to sit on the wall, and your arm be getting tired. Hold it, son. Hold it. Why are we doing all that? So we can get that W on Friday night. So as I became an adult, I started using that in my everyday life. So when I say it's all about the W, I'm just encouraging people to use that same mindset in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because sometimes in our life, we give up. What I mean by that, this is the beginning of the year. Most people start do resolutions, right? Mm-hmm. Well, normally before February the 15th comes, it's over with, right?
Yeah.
And most of the time we say we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that. As soon as we go to work, somebody bring a whole tray of what we said we wasn't gonna do. Instead of us saying, I'm not gonna eat that, I'm strong. Well,
just a little bit.
I'm gonna get one. All right, you just gave up right there. All right. So the same concept that we'll do in sports, you got to have that same mindset in your everyday life. So that's how that came about. Now, some other things that we're doing. We started a nonprofit called the Joseph Vision, and with the Joseph Vision, our goal is to encourage people to go plant-based, but not just go plant-based, but start growing your own food. All right. As a family at home, we started growing our own food. Number one, that cut our budget down. But number two, we know exactly where the food came from. Mm-hmm. We know exactly what we put on that food. We didn't put no pesticides or anything like that, but we grew our food ourselves. So we go out and help schools, other organizations start community gardens so that it could help in the community as people can get fresh fruits and vegetables right there in their community. So we take pride in that. Another thing that we do, I go out and do what's called OSHA trainings, all right? Okay. And with OSHA, basically the S and the H safety and health.
Right.
So what we do, we try to go out in companies, well, number one, to do OSHA trainings, but number two, we also do health trainings. All right, you'll be amazed at how many companies are hurting due to their staff being sick. Some of the staff may be on medications, and with that medication, you're not supposed to drive heavy machinery. Well, that may be their job, is to drive heavy machinery, and that causes a lot of accidents. Some companies, if your blood pressure is a certain level or your blood sugar, that will send you home for the day.
True.
All right, now that may be a valuable person on the staff. Now productivity is going down. You got me? So as we do these OSHA trainings, we also will come in and do a separate training, just as far as helping to keep their staff healthy. All right?
That's
and
awesome.
when companies start understanding that affects their bottom line, when their works are not healthy, it starts to click. All right, so we'll do these juice demonstrations, hands-on. We get people from the company come in. We show them how to make juice, but we show them lifestyle changes that they can start doing so they can improve their health, which affects the company as well. So these are just some of the things that we're doing, and our passion is just to help people win in life.
That is awesome. I didn't know about the last one. I think that is a really, really good concept.
It is.
You know, so basically you're getting to the root of the problem.
Exactly.
And, you know, just making sure that the worker is dealing with the health concerns to possibly get him off those blood pressure medicines and all the other medicines that's, you know, even side effects to those medications.
Yes.
You need medication for your medication
Right.
a lot of the time. And I think that is awesome that you're doing that.
One more thing. You said one more
Bring
thing.
it.
One more thing. Another thing companies got to think about as well is their insurance costs. All right. If less of your staff has chronic conditions, that your insurance company will be very excited about that, because there's less that has to be paid out. So it also helps the insurance companies as well. But like you say, it gets to the root of the problem. OSHA, we think about safety and health as far as not falling from heights of 6 feet or more, not cutting your finger off, which is good, but we also got to think about the health aspect. And with OSHA, we think about health as far as asbestos and things like that. But our body, our diet, has to be addressed in the companies, especially in this day and time.
And if you really think about it, a lot of those accidents could probably be prevented because of, let's say you have this guy, he needs his job, and he's on these different medications, and the medications make you dizzy, they make you nauseated, and I'm not going to tell my boss, you know what I'm saying, because I know he's going to take me off. But if you're getting to the root of that problem, so he doesn't have to do all of that, I mean, they're winning all the way around, 360.
All the way around. So that's our passion. Number one, in the community, family and friends. But when we started doing the research and saw how big of an impact chronic health conditions were with companies, we said that's our next target. And so far, we've had good success. Companies can call, we'll set up the date, we'll plan a package just for them. We even bring a plant-based cook come out and actually show how to prepare meals. So right now, we can do hands-on with juice, but also we can do a 2-day training where we can also show you how to make meals as well.
That is crazy. That is needed on so many levels.
Yes, ma'am.
That is awesome. Well, guys, we are running out of time. Thank you, Tim, for coming out. I have learned so much today.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
And guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to leave some links to Tim's info if y'all want to get to know more about him. Maybe follow him on Facebook. What's your Facebook?
You can find us at It's All About the W. All right, that's one of our Facebook pages. Or you can just find me just simply Tim White.
All right, guys, I'm going to have those links at the bottom, right up under the bio. So we will see you all next time. Y'all have a great day.